Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And today I've got Nicole Harrington. And what's interesting about her is this idea of locus of control and focus on what you can control. That's going to be the main theme for today. You're going to hear about how she turned her life around using this simple technique. And I'm really excited about this because it's all about mindset, hacks, empowering yourself. So, Nicole, welcome.
Hi, thank you, Christopher.
So I know your story, but kind of tell people your story, how you hit rock bottom, and then made changes, and how others can do the same.
Yeah, so I have this tendency to be running in place almost, where I'm trying to make changes, I'm trying to, level up, and it's running in place. I'm not getting anywhere. And I really had to take a step back and change my life entirely by stopping everything and refocusing on what's important and what's going to get me to level up instead of continuously doing things that aren't working.
Yeah, and yeah, that's interesting because you talked about struggling with Netflix and staying up with kind of the wrong influences. Kind of talk about what is your mindset, empowering, where did you start, etc.
Yeah, so yeah, I was hanging out with the wrong people and doing all the wrong things, really. Yeah, binge watching Netflix is so easy to do. I mean, it automatically puts you on the next episode and suddenly you've been sitting there for 3 4 hours. It's I can't believe how easy it is to have that happen. And like scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on social media is another one. They set it up so that it's easy to keep scrolling. I mean, it benefits them if you're doing these things, but it's unhealthy for us. So, if you're in that place of starting to notice things you're doing that are unhealthy, you just kind of, you have to take a step back and have compassion for yourself and say, yeah, the system is not set up to help me in this area. So,
Yeah, yeah, which is quite interesting. The next thing is talking about is where did you start?
yeah, thank you. Where did I start in my coaching or self-development?
Now, where did you start like changing your life around?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I guess self-development would be my answer then. It's you know, yeah, the first step is noticing you're doing it, noticing you have unhealthy habits, noticing that I was going out on the weekends until 2, 3 in the morning. I wasn't getting the right amount of sleep. I'm noticing these things. Once you notice things in your life you want to change, that's when you can take the step and either reach out for help or start to journal for yourself and see what is it that I need help with. That's where I started.
Okay, interesting. And you talked about this idea where morning rituals. And what are some of the morning rituals that you did?
Well, I think morning rituals can be a fluid topic. So maybe right now, what's working for me is waking up early, watching the sunrise, spending time with myself in the morning, spending time to journal in the morning, spending time to do a face routine or take a bath. Like those are some things that are helping me in the moment, but that's not how it's always been. So if you are looking for a routine, Christopher, then, see, you can kind of ask yourself, what isn't working? And let me just try and play with something new, one thing at a time.
Interesting. Um, how do you deal with the negativity in your life?
Oh my gosh, yes. I am a very empathetic person. So when I see even someone else struggling, not even negatively directed towards me, I want to go over and help people. And I want to, you know, even when it's directed towards me, I'm empathetic towards the person who's being negative towards me. So, you know, I really have to take a moment for myself. I have to focus on myself. If someone's being negative towards me, I need to focus on myself and say, Nicole, you are strong. This is something I like to repeat to myself. I am strong. I am I am giving myself opportunities to um if someone's being negative towards me, I have that's an opportunity for me to take that experience and to prove to myself how strong I am and how empathy is a good thing, but make sure that I'm still protecting myself. Yeah.
Interesting. Um, yeah. Um, the other question is, how are you able to grow your inner circle with people who have your same growth mindset?
Well, I joined other people's inner circles. So my favorite coach is Nick Santanastasso. He has a group. Do you know him?
Yeah. He's the gentleman kind of, he's, he had the born without the limbs, right? Because of the
Yeah.
constriction. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
He has no legs and one arm and one finger. um, so he's been my coach now for, I think it's been over a year. I get to listen to him and be in his inner circle every Mondays. So that's been a huge change for me, being able to be in that circle and, have the resources. If you want help, it's right there.
Yeah. Interesting. I love that. And then how were you able to change negative patterns you used to have?
Negative patterns I used to have. Well, I think the key word is negative. So if you're feeling like you have a negative pattern, that's good because it shows you're aware of it. So I think compassion for yourself, that's a big word for me. Empathy, compassion, and empowerment. um, Compassion for yourself and then empowerment, realizing you can make a change and you're in charge.
Yeah. When you're scared, what helps you look past that and continue on?
Thank you. When I'm scared, oh gosh, fear and scared is a little bit similar. If you're scared, or I think scared, maybe an example for me would be, let's say you're out and about and something's scaring you. You're scared for your life or for your well-being. Well, that's where the empowerment and empathy come in, is having empathy for yourself. If you're scared, you're feeling an emotion. You're feeling this is good. Even though scared is not, you don't want to be feeling scared all the time, right? Because then you're in survival mode. So like maybe get the heck out of there and then, sit with those feelings of being scared. Realize this is a positive thing, because if you're scared, it allows you the space to use the skills you've been learning. If you're out and you're scared or you're fearful, that's an opportunity. You can try out all of the lessons you've been learning, the things you're learning. It's hard to say that, because if you're scared, trauma, those are all things that come from being scared. So if you feel safe, then use that moment to empower yourself and stand up for yourself and change your story.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. You talked about empowering yourself and being consistent and building healthy habits naturally. Kind of expand on that.
Building healthy habits naturally. So it doesn't when you first start out, it doesn't feel natural. When you're first trying new things, you might come up with fear or frustration or not good words, not empowering words. And, it might cause you to rethink what you're doing. But the coming up with healthy habits, the natural part is, okay, if you're trying something new and that uncomfortable feeling comes up, sit with yourself with that and say, is that uncomfortable just because I'm trying something new? Or is it uncomfortable because this isn't the right path for me? So if it's not the right path for you, then you can empower yourself to try something different. Um, just like, we talked about waking up earlier, my routines, it didn't always come naturally to me. Waking up early before the sun rises did not come naturally. I had to start going to sleep earlier. Excuse me. And listening to my body and, allowing myself grace when I couldn't get up early. But eventually, if we keep at it, if it's something that's important to you, then keep at it, push through that uncomfortable pain. And that is when it becomes more natural. But let me be clear here, the uncomfortable pain, I'm talking about this example of waking up early. It's like you don't want to turn a bad habit into another bad habit. Waking up, not getting enough sleep is not healthy, right? So you have to listen to your body. Listening to your body is going to help you come up with the routine that works for you, and then it's going to become more natural.
Got it. Interesting. The other question I have is scheduling hacks. Tell us more about that.
Okay. Well, for me, right now, my scheduling hack is I'm very detailed and writing down exactly, even to the minute, of what I'm doing. And this has allowed me to say, oh, okay, so this is why I didn't get anything done today, because I spent 3 hours. I needed new shoes. It ended up taking 3 hours getting new shoes. It's a silly example, but through humor is where, you make life enjoyable. So,
Yeah.
but it was like, oh, wow, I would have never noticed before that, like, going to get new shoes or going to the grocery store, how long do you spend at Costco? Like, it's like, okay, if you're spending 3 hours at Costco and you can do, what is that grocery? They send groceries to your house, like, but it costs, let's say, $20. Like, is $20 more worth, or is being in line at Safeway for 3 hours? Which one are you? I got stuck on that. I forgot the question because,
Yeah.
it's like, what are we valuing is what I was.
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking me about scheduling. I keep track of to the hour, to the minute of what I'm doing. And that has allowed me to take out certain things and to put in things that are going to make me money in my business versus are just frustrating.
Frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about it's like it's like, you could, like, one example is you could take an Uber. It might cost you like, you know, like $20 more, but it saves you an hour. And is your time worth more than $20 an hour? And if it can, if it's convenient and if it's safer, you don't, then you may pay $20 extra, but you save yourself all of that inconvenience and all that friction. And so,
Yes.
well,
Thank
yeah. Talk about money mindset. I'm just curious what people have to say about money mindset. What is that?
Yeah, for me, I have my credit score is about 780, and I've been able to get credit cards with a large, max drawing amount because of this, because I fight for more. So how that relates with money management is I still live within my means. If I'm only making a certain amount, then I'm only going to spend that amount. Even if I have the ability to spend more, for me, money management is about living within your means. And because so often money is like a stressor on people's life. So it's like you need to know how much you're spending every month, how much you're making every month, and know these things, just like with the schedule. How you want do one thing is how you do everything. So keep track and make sure it's not an additional stressor on your life.
Yeah. Interesting. How can people contact you, follow you, reach out to you, etc.?
Yeah, I prefer Instagram. So on Instagram, my name is Nicole Coaching G. I also have a link to my YouTube on there. And yeah.
Yeah. And for all the audience out there, let's thank Nicole for coming on. Interesting concepts, some insights, and with all of our resources will be in the links and show notes. And with that, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you, Christopher. Thanks for having me.